The book of Sirach, chapter 31, verse 1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. Okay, first and foremost, like to give infinite honors and prayers to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rekah HaKodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akims that's pushing the truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this video be edifying first and foremost to the whole elect, then to those that cleave to the body. And I got a quick lesson queued up, just going into prophecy concerning the economic crash, the things that's upholding it. All right, in the future of the things that upholds some of this economy. All right, the keepers of the house, different people that contributes to it. We'll get into a few factors on it and really just see the trajectory of it. Okay, because this is stocks and bonds. Okay, and when you look inside of the stock market, it's just really regulated, on digital and physical exchanges, man. All right. Let me read a little bit of this in the AI overview. It says it says like the NYSE or NASDAQ, where the stock market is a regulated network of digital and physical exchanges. All right. Which ultimately that stock market, all right, it takes care of the poor, where the rich put their money in, and they get advances, and they double their money. They actually triple, quadruple their money. Okay, but that's the rich, okay, putting it in. And I'll get into a couple of those key contributors, all right, that's in the market, just so you can just kind of get an overview of what it actually is. It says where investors, see, and anywhere where you're making an investment, there's a what? There's a opportunity to get more financial power. Okay, it says, but who are the investors? They the big wigs, are the people who got the bread, man. All right, and it also controls, these the poor. All right, it controls the welfare that they receive. All right, the welfare recipients, uh, the food stamps, the different things that Jake get, and Jake just think, well, hey, they just getting this from the government. Nah, it's that's funneled through the stock markets, man. Okay, and other government assistance. Okay, but they're the investors. They the ones that invest in everything. Okay, it says where buy and sell shares of public companies, allowing firms to raise capital and individuals to grow wealth. Right. So it's a opportunity. You watch that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. All right, it's some underhanded things going on. All right, it says it facilitates capital investment, enabling companies to grow, create jobs, and reward shareholders through price increases and dividends. All right. Okay, so it's also an extension of what these investors collaborate together and do to build more, like you say, to make more businesses and things of that nature. All right, but it's all on the backs of them increasing, okay, increasing their riches. It says some key contributors to the stock market evolution. The Dutch 1600s, the Dutch East Indian Company, all right, is credited with issuing the first public shares and bonds in 1602. Okay, no stocks and bonds. You can invest in it at any time it can collapse, all right, or anytime it can close, or anytime you could just be without your money, you can get locked out, all right? So it's a gamble. It's basically putting your money in something, hoping that putting your money in something or stock into something, hoping it explode or it become the next big thing, all right? And you get paid or rewarded handsomely for it. It says the early American trade of 1792, the New York Stock Exchange, which I said. All right, that's the NYSE. Begin with 24 brokers signing a Buttonwood agreement to create a formal exchange as detailed by SoFi. The railroad companies were among the first to raise massive capital through widespread stock trading, changing the scale of finance. All right, but all these are the big wigs who got the money, man. Charles Dow created the Dow Jones Industrial Average to measure market performances. Tech pioneers, 1971, the creation of the NASDAQ introduced electronic high-speed trading to the market. Modern institutional investors, pension funds, mutual funds, and regulators like the SEC ensure daily liquidity and compliance, all right? Which those pension funds and the 401k, all this is funneled through that stock market exchange. That's why nothing is a guarantee. And that's why when money fly towards heaven, man. Okay, today you can have it, all right? And then tomorrow, okay, it can be gone. Okay, it's just a digital in a digital minute. That's why you can look at your account and see millions of dollars and then look back and see pennies, man. Okay, it says the market is currently dominated by automated trading, which drastically improve efficiency and accessibility. All right, so that's just a little backdrop on it. Okay, but this guy, is well known, for his he predicted, and this is the damn devil. All right, he juiced in. Okay, but he predicted uh I'll read it in here. All right, it says according to Warren Buffett's math, the stock market is officially in playing with fire territory. So when is the next crash coming? All right, and they got this little saying right here. It says when Warren Buffett get nervous, you and I should probably be nervous too. But this devil ain't getting nervous. All right, they're the uber elites, man. They creating the nerves for people, man. This devil is well off. All right, until his riches be moth eaten. Okay, but that's something to take a look at, because when you look into the windows of America, it's just darkened. All right, ain't no hope for this place, man. Okay, let me get it in Zephaniah. Now, obviously, I gotta get the Ecclesiastes. All right, this won't be long, but just want to just touch bases on the financial crash. Okay, this part of the economic struggles that's gonna help collapse the economy, the economic economy, man. All right, this is Zephaniah 1. 10. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day, said Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills, man. All right, and when you look at this stock market, you see the path on it. It look like hills. All right, meaning it's increasing, it's going up, it's going down, and it's always moving. All right, whenever these devils want to enrich themselves, they'll cause something to happen. All right, let it go down low when nobody's buying in stock. They'll stock in. All right, then let it blow up, man. All right, and you look at the little graphs. All right, everybody should be aware of the stock market. Increase and decrease in graphs, man. We learned that in school. But it says, a noise shall come from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. All right, because at the time it'll be booming, and then next thing you know, it's just people I done lost all my money. All right, but it's designed that way. Okay, nothing has surety here. It says, how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, and they that bear silver is cut off. Right? Yeah, because the Lord making money fly towards heaven. All right. The Lord making that this money disappear, you know, and what it's doing, all right, it's causing a panic, it's causing depression, okay, and it's putting a squeeze on people. But this is the Lord's purpose, but He's doing it through the left hand side, which ultimately wants you to become what a digital dummy. Like me and the brother was talking about yesterday. All right, just going, everything gonna become digital. All right, as it always is, already is in a process of it, anyways. Okay, doing so, but this stock market and all this, it's gonna be going away, man. Once that digital C-hip is pushed in play, all right, you ain't gonna have no more. All your money gonna be controlled, man. Okay, what you can do, what you can't do. All right, you gonna have to you have to be a good citizen, man. You gonna have the social credit score, the things of this nature. Like, this is what is getting pushed to, man. All right, so they're doing away with that physical exchange. All right, and it's gonna be a digital exchange. Now let's read some of this article, and I'm gonna jump around in a couple. I'm gonna kind of skim through it. All right, I read it, but this is just to get to the point, bring a couple precepts out, and law willing to be edifying. All right. It says during the get in the middle one, all right. And this was his thesis. This devil Buffett, all right. I'll start up here. It says the total value of stocks, U.S. stocks over the long term can outpace the growth of businesses as reflected in the GDP. So when the ratio of the S&P 500 to national income diverges hugely from the norm, it's bound to swing the opposite way and revert to the mean. During the dot-com bubble in 2001, story in Fortune that he penned, Buffett highlighted a chart in the text displaying that at the craziest peak in March 2000, that number, now known as the Buffett indicator, reached a heady 200%. Okay? The message of the chart, he wrote, is that if the relationship between the total value of equities and GDP drops to 70% or 80%, buying stocks is likely to work out very well for you. If it approaches 200,000 as it did in 1999 and 2000, you are playing with fire. All right, that's the point. Okay? You are playing with fire. If it approaches this 200%. Okay? It says by the time the Buffett story appeared and by mid-2022, retreated by almost one half from its peak, taking the Buffett indicator below 80% as the Buffett formula predicted. The text rampage aftermath proved a great moment to buy. All right, let's. It says, which brings us to the present. Since the stock market decline prompted by the surprise start of the Iran war, and it's not a surprise, right? It's strategically done by the elites. Remember, war is a racket. All right, so it's a way to what? Change your money system, which they're gonna do. Okay, change the financial system. All right, gain, enrich themselves. Okay, war is profit. You see, so when there's a way, because the elites control both sides of the wall. All right, and when Trump got in office, he had these damn devils had the stock market booming, man. This is another way for these devils to make money, and take from the rich. I mean, the rich just continue to take from the poor, man. Here, the poor man put his money in there, hoping he get a return or a good investment. But you dealing with those wigs or those people, all right, that got knowledge of when it's going to, crash, when it's going to go in and go. You just don't have that knowledge, man. Okay. It says, and the SP 500 has rebounded to near all-time record of 71.65. Here's the shocker. The Buffett indicator now stands at 227% a figure that's around 1/6 higher than what he identified as the prepare for a roasting zone. A reading this elevated comes with two problems. First, corporate profits have been waxing much faster than the GDP. Let me get on with this. Okay. Let's read down here. Okay. Let me finish it up. It says, second, I'll read the last verse in this one. It says, corporate earnings as a share of national income cannot rise beyond that historic share of GDP for long periods. Second, stocks have also gotten far more expensive rel- relative to their profits. All right, so that's like an unjust game. All right, you put some money in, and the stock itself is way more expensive to put in. So then, if it don't boom or you don't get out what you need to get out of it, you basically upside down. It says the S&P 500 prices earnings ratio based on forecast Q1 sees, all right, yada yada, whatever. Okay. It says, how bad could the drop be based on the past instances of an astronomical Buffett indicator? Once again, the decline from the dot-com driven 200% mark that prompted the Buffett piece was about half. In November 2021, the indicator reached just over that fearsome benchmark, then tumbled 19%. In the Fortune article, Buffett warned that if investors expected shares to roar higher with his indicator was hovering at those historic heights, the line would have to go straight off the chart, meaning the optimists were banking on a suspension in economic gravity. Right now, the bulls are in charge, and they're predicting the Buffett indicator that's already hit uncharted territory will push further into playing with fire realm. Buffett theses does not predict when the market swings back into balance, just that it will eventually, and when it does all investors will feel the pain. And when a rich man speak it, people extol it to the clouds. Let me get that. All right. Okay. It says Sirach 13:22. It says, when a rich man is falling, he had many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. And who's to him? Like, he had a thesis, okay? It's nothing more than a hypothesis. All right. What if he struck it rich with whatever this goddamn devil did, but people gonna take his word on him on everything. All right. So he basically leading you to a pitfall. It says, the poor man slipping, and yet they rebuke him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. So the things we saying about the crash and don't put your money in this and don't, invest in this shit, I watch what you do. I have the knowledge at least, because remember, these devils control, they monopolize everything. They control the monopoly board. For hell, they got a cheating edition of Monopoly. The cheaters edition, But it says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue and looking what he said and extol it to the clouds. All right. So, hey, I'll take this devil word for it, because remember, when they speak it, all right, they don't have your best interest at heart. They gonna tell you something, but it's probably the reverse, because this devil a lie. He speaking lies, and we've been doing it since he coming out the womb, man. All right. But it says, but if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumbled, they will help to overthrow him. All right. So when we telling you, how to operate, and then these merchant people, they silver is being cut off, and they just lead you to, this is just another way to gamble. All right. They just legally having you gamble and just take your money whenever they get ready, man. That's all the stock market is, man. It's a gamble market. But let's get a couple precepts. So if Warren Buffett nervous, I wonder what else, right? This Ecclesiastes, and that's it. It just was something to kind of touch in on. I had it queued up and I kind of lost track of it, so I just wanted to follow up. All right, it says Ecclesiastes 5:10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes, man? All right. It says, sleeping. You know what? Let me get this in. Get this. Put it in the NLT, both of them. All right. Verse 12. It says, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Now remember when I started with the Sirach, all right, 31. I'm gonna read verse 2. Because I read one, I'm gonna read 1 and 2. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. It'll drive you crazy, man. I think my woman said that her daddy, not think, but she did say this, all right. Her daddy, one time years ago, probably 20 to 25 years ago, all right, he always played the stocks, just penny pinching it, doing what he could do, just trying to, hey, get lucky, And one Friday, I think they put $1 million in his account, or he won on a Friday, but he couldn't get it out till Monday, right? And then it boomed on a Friday, and by Monday it went all the way down. It was like $1 million and something, and he couldn't pull it out. He couldn't get it because when he went by Monday morning, all right, as soon as he went to log on the app or whatever you look at, it had done went down. It done crashed. you know. I mean, she don't have no reason to kind of lie to me about that. That's like, what are we doing here? He never got it, but that's neither here nor there. All right, but that was years ago. When he was like, I guess she said her father was, just kind of into it a lot, But it says, watching care would not let a man slumber, and a sore disease break his sleep. And it didn't this devil say right here? When Warren Buffett get nervous, you and I should be nervous too. Yeah, watching after money it's gonna right, it's gonna break your sleep, man. It's a lot to look after. Then you get caught up into it. Then, hey, like it says, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep, And this market is a trap. It says, there's a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept to the owners thereof to their hurt. So they're holding up the money. This devil rich, he talking about he getting nervous. Getting nervous for what, man? Hey, y'all own people. Y'all own lands. He's all connected. He juiced in. All right. He might not be the upper elites because you see him, but he a lower tier of them. All right. He within the family somewhere. There's Ecclesiastes 5 and 13 in the NLT. There's another serious problem I have seen under the sun. Hoarding riches harms the saver. See that? Verse 14. Money is put into risky investments that turn sour, and everything is lost. In the end, there is nothing left to pass on to one's children. You see? Money is put into risky investments that turn sour, and everything is lost. So, again, hey, that's pretty much the point, man. Because the windows is dark in this place, man. This Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the keepers of the house go to the economists, man. All right, the people that circulate the money, all right, the back and forth, these investors, these stockers, these different people, man. All right, the economists, that's the keeper, the managers of the house, man. Okay? When they're trembling, and the strong men shall bow themselves in the ground and see, because there are few, and those that look out of the window be darkened. Yes. So, the stock market crash, we praying for that, all right? Because that's just going to further push anarchy, chaos, all right? It's going to cause economic collapse, which is going to cause a societal collapse, which is going to cause a societal disruption, all right? And so forth and so on, man. Okay? So, hey, that's pretty much what the point. So, a stock market crash is looming, especially if the devil Warren Buffett is nervous. So, I don't want to write this out of was edifying. Till next time, I see Shalom.